In a quiet coastal village, a single morning turned into a nightmare no one could forget. What began as whispers of betrayal erupted into a relentless rampage that left an entire community frozen in fear. One man's twisted idea of honor pushed him beyond the limits of sanity, leaving a trail of devastation in every home he entered. Even the school and chapel were not spared from his desperate, chilling presence. This is the story of a day when peace shattered forever, and the haunting question remains, could anyone have stopped it? Real crimes are more terrifying than any ghost story. They are born from the darkest corners of the human mind, where greed, rage, and obsession twist into acts beyond imagination. In this channel, we dive deep into these chilling true events, unmasking the truth that hides in the shadows. If you have a passion for real crime stories, subscribe and join our growing community. Don't forget to click the bell button for more real-life crime stories. Domingo Salazar was a Filipino mass murderer who killed 16 people. In the barangay San Nicolas, Palawan, Philippines, on October 11, 1956, Salazar, a Moro native of Zamboanga, lived with his common-law wife, Maxima Pajo, in San Nicolas. Due to his suspicions that his wife had an affair with her sister's husband, Fortunato Nares, and that the child she was pregnant with was not his own, he planned to vindicate his honor by taking his vengeance on them. In the morning of October 11, 1956, 42-year-old Salazar asked his wife to go with him to gather nipa for the repair of their house. But when her sister Romana arrived, inviting her to accompany her to her house to get rice, Maxima refused to join her husband. Angry about that, Salazar armed himself with a spear and a bolo knife, and first killed his pregnant sister-in-law. Before turning against his pregnant wife and his nephew, Fortunato Nares Jr., killing them both. Salazar afterwards made his way through the village and entered 4 houses, murdering everyone he found therein. At the school compound, he stabbed Manuel Adian in the back with his spear. Though the attack left him severely wounded, Adian was able to escape. Salazar then chased 2 other men, Pablo Paz and Severino Adian, and threw his spear against them, hitting neither of them, before trying to enter the schoolhouse. But as the teacher present had already locked and barricaded door and windows, he was unable to force his entrance. Salazar finally went to the chapel and told the bell calling for everybody to come. He asked to be killed, but no one dared to obey his request. Eventually, 2 armed guards, together with a barrio officer, arrived at the scene and managed to persuade Salazar to surrender by promising him to shoot and kill him at the wharf, but only after he had signed a piece of paper that was to protect them from repercussions by the authorities. When Salazar laid down his arms and was about to affix his thumb mark on the paper, he was subdued and arrested. On October 24, 1956, Salazar's physical and mental state was examined by the chief of the Puerto Princesa Hospital, who found him to be normal and sane. After he had pleaded guilty, Salazar was sentenced to death, once for each of the 16 murders, as well as multi-year prison sentences for frustrated and attempted murder. He was also fined to pay the heirs of his deceased victims 3,000 peso. On June 30, 1959, during his appeal hearing, the sentence was overall confirmed, but the court found his confession and admission of guilt mitigating. So his conviction for the murders of Maxima and Romana Pajo, as well as Fortunato Nares, was changed to reclusion perpetua. The indemnity to his victims' relatives was raised to 6,000 peso. A complaint for multiple counts of murder, frustrated murder, and attempted murder was filed against Domingo in the Justice of the Peace Court of Palawan. Domingo waived his right to a preliminary investigation, so the case was sent to the Court of First Instance of the province, where the fiscal filed formal charges for the same crimes. It was alleged that on or about October 11, 1956, in the province of Palawan, the accused, with deliberate intent, advanced planning, and treachery, and armed with a spear and a large bolo, willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously attacked and wounded, in one continuous assault, several people in and around their homes. The victims included pregnant women, minors aged 6 months to 7 years old, and other adults. Many of them died instantly from the attack. The accused also attacked one person, stabbing him in the back and injuring his lung, a wound that would normally be fatal, but he survived due to quick medical attention. Still not satisfied, the accused tried to attack 2 other people but missed. The acts were committed with aggravating circumstances, including premeditation, use of superior strength, treachery, committing the crimes inside the victims' homes, and causing additional harm beyond what was necessary. On October 24, 1956, a physical and mental examination of the accused was conducted by the chief of the Puerto Princesa Hospital, and he was found to be normal and sane. He even narrated how he killed his common-law wife and his other victims. 2 local lawyers were appointed counsel de oficio to defend him. Upon arraignment, interpreted in the local dialect, he pleaded guilty. This notwithstanding, considering the gravity of the offense charged, the court asked him to take the witness stand and narrate the circumstances surrounding their commission, but he refused, stating that he had already made a confession. Thereupon, the court asked the prosecution to present its evidence, and the fiscal presented among his exhibits the murder weapon, the confession of the accused, the sketches of the scene of the crime, the 16 certificates of death, the affidavits of some witnesses, and the ante-mortem declaration of Manuel Adion, the provincial commander of Puerto Princesa, who investigated the accused, testified that he propounded the questions to him in Tagalog, which is the dialect known to him, while Justice of the Peace Oscar Sayat, before whom the confession was subscribed and sworn to, testified that he read the document and translated it into Tagalog for the benefit of the accused. And when he asked him if he was coerced into making the statement, he acknowledged that it was voluntarily given by him. The case was elevated to this court for review for several arguments advanced by counsel for the accused in an effort to mitigate his liability. These arguments, in a nutshell, may be boiled down into 3, to wit, 1. That the accused's plea of guilty did not extend to the admission of the correctness of the qualification of his acts as expressed by the prosecution in its information, particularly the allegation that the acts of the accused were committed with evident premeditation and with treachery. 2. That running amok or becoming a juramentado is a cult among the Moros that forms part of their religion. It is age-old and deeply rooted in their psychology. The Moros do not discourage its observance. They do not view the observance of this cult as a heinous crime. The calculated risk they take when a Moro becomes juramentado is taken graciously. They are always alert to kill a juramentado before his victims multiply. And 3, consequently, because the acts committed by the accused were parts and parcel of his observance of the Moro cult of being a juramentado, which should be distinguished from the acts of a common murdered under our laws. Counsel believes that the accused should only be considered as having committed the crimes of homicide, or something lesser than murder. Constrained to hold that the accused is guilty beyond reasonable doubt of the crimes of multiple murder, frustrated murder, and attempted murder, all qualified by evident premeditation as charged in the information. Plead guilty. Sentenced to death in 1956. Resentenced to reclusion, perpetua on June 30, 1959.